So Dr. Pia comes over to visit with them. You know, she says she wants to follow up on the last visit they had and help with their trust and intimacy and help them dive deeper. And so, you know, Stacia says the place where we were last time, you know, we're in a better place since the last time you saw us. You know, previously we were trying to get over an obstacle, and again, we're in a better place. So she said before you came, we actually talked about some questions that we wanted to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
And Stacia's question was, you know, how do I gain more trust in him? Be able to trust, you know, where he is. And Nate says, you know, I think she needs to define what is your trust issue? What are you having a problem getting over? What do you need from me? What you don't trust that I what? And he said, because if not, that's going to frustrate him over time, and he ain't going to feel like dealing with it.
I mean, nobody does if a person can't trust you. I mean, every time I'm trying to show that you're untrustworthy, or every time I show him that I am trustworthy, that I'm doing things, you keep moving the goalposts. And I think what it is, she keep changing the goalposts on him, because he keeps doing all these things. He got the freaking tattoo on his hand. He's done all the things that she's asked him to do. He signed the post up. Like, he's thinking in his mind as a man thinking, what else can I show you? What else can I do to build trust? I've done everything. I'm showing this. I show up every day. I'm here every day. I'm cleaning up the way that you need me to clean up. I'm talking the way you want me to talk. I've got a freaking tattoo on my hand. I signed a post up. All these things, and you still don't trust the fact that I'm going to be here for you. It's frustrating.
He said I'm sorry.
I can see his frustration. I mean, it's frustrating.
Yeah. He says, I'm the type of person that I'm going to trust you or not. And Stacia says, you know, for me, I have to fact check the trust. I need some support that says I need to trust you. And again, he's doing that. Why does that not work? And so Dr. P is like, well, do you connect trust with control? And Stacia was like, well, yeah, maybe. So Dr. P said, I want you to try to relinquish some control. Come up with an activity where you have to fully trust Nate. And she said, I got some fun items in the basket for y'all that you could probably use for that. And so Stacia says, I'm learning to rely and trust on someone else and not just herself, because she's been self-sufficient, reliant. She emancipated in her teens, so she's used to just people have let her down, so I just trust myself. So she understands it's a process. I have to get there.
I mean, I understand both sides of that too. I mean, when you used to betting on yourself, or you trusting who you are, and moving on, and then you have to work with somebody else. It's like coming from an individual sport and now playing a team sport, and you have to trust on other people to make sure that the goal is achieved, and they don't do it the way that you do it. Doesn't mean what they do is wrong. Doesn't mean how they do it is wrong. They're just not doing it your way, and that's the control piece in her. Nate may not be doing or saying everything the way that she wanted him to say it or do it, and she's like, well, that's not right. Well, it might be right, but it's his path that he's choosing. Not necessarily it's wrong.
Nate says he's excited about the whole relinquishing control thing, and so we see them later going to a little cabin or whatever, and she jokingly says it's my sex dungeon, reminiscent of Candy from Real Housewives. But in this space, so Nate is in control. They got a whole lot of toys in the little basket, and I feel like some people made this comment on Instagram. I felt like my daughter calls it secondhand embarrassment. I kind of felt like almost like when they did the shower thing. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to watch this.
No, they call it. She called it soft porn. I mean, she called it PG. Actually, she said it was PG. That there's some things that they did not show from their dungeon scenes or whatever case may be. And it was having fun. I think she said they didn't show Nate licking her toes. She said she liked her toes sucked. She said it's on after party. That he liked her toes, like his like.
Let's blend some chocolate syrup or something
involved. And he said told her that she needed to wash her feet. Basically, she washed her feet off, hopped over to the bed, and Nate put chocolate syrup between their toes and sucked their toes. She liked that. Watch After Party, man. If you haven't watched that, check that out. Or the clip of that is on our Instagram page, in our Instagram story. But he does that, so she relinquished control. I think her hands were handcuffed to the bed.
No, they definitely were. And she was blindfolded.
And she was blindfolded, and he was, underneath the covers, and she's giggling, And
he says, "Open your mouth." She's like, "For what?" It was whipped cream, but even when he gave her the whipped cream, she spit it out. That was funny. He was like, "Why you spit it out?" And he was like, you know, with everything in there, they had a little swing they get attached to the door frame, and he was like, "Yeah, it's about to get freaky in here." She was like, "Yeah, this is getting way out of control."
And Stacia said she liked the swing, and she was after party. She was handing the swing out for everybody. You get a swing, and you get a swing, and you get some gifts, and everybody gets some gifts. You know, and after party was kind of hilarious with her, Beth, and Alexis talking about control.
Because we know Beth with her BCS.
Well, she said Jamie has evolved 1,000%. That he's no longer at basic Caucasian sex.
But before, anyway, when they talked about it, she was like, "I actually don't have a problem with it."
Yeah, so she said Jamie is much more advanced now than, you know, what he did before or what he was doing before. So they talked about a whole bunch of other stuff, and, you know, Alexis brings up that she was getting that even Justin has learned some things from Nate and was bringing some things home for Nate, and it's weird. Interesting, some deep throat spray, some other stuff that was coming home, and toys and things like that. So seemed like Stacia and Nate are the freaky ones, and who would have thought that, you know, they said Nate was a freak in the sheets, that Stacia would be willing to match Nate's freakiness. She was all embarrassed at the wedding, like, oh, he said he's a freak in the sheets. But she's a freak in the sheets.
I don't think she was embarrassed at all. She was just like, mental note. What does that mean, though? I think that's what it was. Oh, she wasn't scared.
Oh,
she wasn't timid at all. But anyway, that's it with Nate and Stacia. Let's...